Alright, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor Unchained. Big day today. Big day for the market. Huge day. Bitcoin has now hit $100,000. That is absolutely crazy. To see Bitcoin literally now sitting at six figures for a single Bitcoin is nuts. This is something that when I went through last cycle, wanted to see happen. This is what I firmly believed would happen last cycle, even though it didn't, and everyone got destroyed in the last cycle, thinking we were going to hit 100K. Now to see it playing out this cycle, actually hitting over 100K literally just off this candle, is massive. That is incredibly bullish. This is insanely bullish for the rest of the market. This to me has just brought another level of gains to the alt season that is going to happen. Because, short term, yes, maybe we pull back, do whatever. I think this is just going to add fuel to the fire for altcoins, for the crypto markets. We're probably going to see on the news. This might be, the biggest headline to come on the news over the next few days, few weeks. We actually might see crazy marketing for a lot of different, it could be whatever, just on news stations, talking about Bitcoin, talking about all this different stuff relating to crypto now. This could be a floodgate for a lot more retail to be jumping in, looking into altcoins, or feeling that FOMO because we have broken such a strong psychological level. Like, we're literally at 103 right now, 103K. This is nuts. So this is why we've been in this market, guys, for years. If you guys have been with me in the channel, this is why we've been in the market for over a year now. As far as, when I started my channel last year. But Binance BTC USD liquidation heat map. So this kind of just, shows Binance, which obviously is one of the most major exchanges, one of the largest. But you can just see there's a ton of money that was sitting literally at 100K. I knew it was going to be a major resistance, but because the buy pressure, once it really started moving a little bit, just instant cascading into, people just getting stopped out as it's going up and up and up, which is, it's a lot of times that's a big reason for when price really skyrockets one way or the other. Not even just for Bitcoin, but for a lot of, majors that are listed on all these exchanges because, you can kind of trade them however you want. But yeah, 103.3. Yeah, we are literally just watching this live right now. That is crazy. This video is kind of a 100K celebration. And I kind of just want to pull up a few altcoins. Because again, guys, you should be allocated into some strong long-term gems. And so it is December 4th right now. And what's actually, I think it's crazy too, again, if you guys have not been on my channel or never seen videos, MOG is literally the #1 meme coin in crypto in my personal opinion. We go to MOG on X. But they have, Coinbase just announced that it's going to list MOG. Coinbase traders literally just putting the MOG emojis out there. But they actually have announced that they're listing MOG, I think, tomorrow. I don't know where the announcement was. Yes, this was the one from yesterday. But there's one out today. And I'm surprised that the main page didn't repost it. But anyways, bottom line, it's crazy to see that we got 103K for Bitcoin. I think this is going to be incredibly good for ETH as far as a catch-up play, because Ethereum has still been going slow. I mean, even though over the last few weeks it actually has been starting to move really well. But again, psychological level over 100K is huge for everything else. Huge for Solana, Even huge for XRP, yes. Massive for Sui. This, guys, I am next level bullish. Like, this is just crazy to me to see this. Just overall, guys, stay bullish. You want to be jumping into great coins that are consolidating, that are flat, at good levels. I'm going to show you guys altcoins in a second, but this is what was interesting, is we actually saw the market dominance of Bitcoin actually nuke really hard over the last, week, basically. And for me, I brought it up in Discord. I'm like, I don't know exactly what's going to happen here, but if we're going to see multiple weeks of red here on the Bitcoin dominance, very, very similar to this run here. If we start to see a bunch of red or consolidation and then into even more dumping, which is possible. If you kind of look at this general area, we have a few weeks of red, consolidation, which, it could kind of be playing out right now, or it's gonna bounce, it'll go green for a bit and then continue down. We could be playing this move out right here. It's possible. Or maybe we're somewhere, I don't even know, somewhere else. But I mean, I personally think if there's anything that's going to kind of resemble, it's going to be this move. I don't know how large or small it's going to be in comparison, but, if anything, we are kind of at like this general area right here. We've been in an uptrend for a long time. I personally thought that Bitcoin dominance was probably going to run to like 65 to 70%. Is it possible at this point? Yes, potentially, but I think from here it's probably just going to bounce around, and then at some point it is going to tank, and all of that capital is going to flood into altcoins. That is going to spark Altseason like crazy. We're seeing ETH BTC literally down again. ETH BTC had a great day yesterday, and now because of this move, we're seeing this just dump again. Classic for ETH BTC. Same thing. Until Bitcoin dominance just decides to dump like crazy, ETH BTC is going to sit sideways. It's just going to continue this, parabola to the downside. You literally can draw it with a mouse tool. And that's what's funny about Bitcoin too. 103.2 now. Jeez. So I think I drew this yesterday. I don't know if I just mentioned it, but yeah, I like, if you guys don't know, like I focus very much so on momentum. And parabolas play out in crypto so often, and I don't know why. I think it's because it is such an emotionally driven market. And it seems like a lot of people, especially people don't really know to look at charts. They're not too trained with their brain as far as how to invest or, different things like that. This market's very emotional. And I think when people start to sense that something is about to break out or something's starting to look really good from a chart perspective or whatever they can see, it starts to just pile on until it just explodes. That is why I think a lot of parabolas really just move like crazy. Like we even see one here. Again, it's as simple as, when momentum starts to flow in one direction, you literally could just draw it out. It just looks like it is going to continue. It usually does. And I, again, don't know why, but I think it's just because the crypto market's emotional. You can literally draw it from back here. This was one of the most simple, obviously complex at the time. It was never guaranteed this was going to happen, but this was something I saw all the way down here after this bounce starting to move. Once this was confirmed, it easily, this is such an easy parabola for me to look at and be like, what? I do think it's going to break out at some point to the upside, but I mean, guys, this chart looks unbelievable. This is just like huge breakout for Bitcoin. Parabola playing out, huge leg up, upwards consolidation bouncing into a crank well into 6 figures for Bitcoin. Whoa, that is massive. I do think, it's hard to know and hard to tell what's actually going to happen now, more shorter, more shorter term, because I was kind of expecting us to kind of chop and actually fall down a bit here and kind of correct. But, we're probably going to continue up for a little while. Don't know how much longer, because, the RSI is really showing signs that it's definitely got to have some sort of correction at some point pretty soon. But, we still could see this go all the way to 105, 110, 115, potentially. I'm not saying it's literally going to do that. Maybe we do get a couple massive green days again of God candles, but, I'm not really betting on it. It's probably going to go up, pull back, same thing. We could continue to draw, another parabola. I mean, maybe not a parabola. This is kind of just a trend line here, but more than likely it'll come and tap this again. Wouldn't be surprised, but again, guys, sometimes Bitcoin just does whatever it wants. You would think it's going to do one thing, just does the other. Like I said, I thought this was actually going to come down here to like high 80s maybe. Ends up just cranking to the upside. So, let's cover some meme coins. We'll cover a bunch of different ones, a couple AI. But so we got MOG, of course. Literally got listed, or planned to be listed on Coinbase. And it is going to be listed, I think, I don't know if it's today. I think it's tomorrow, the December 5th. But that is just incredible timing as well for this coin. I think at this point now, with Coinbase literally on Binance Futures, probably potentially a Binance listing at some point soon. Now on Coinbase as well, literally with the big boys, and I say big boys, just a lot of the older meme coins, like Doge, Shiba Inu, Floki, and whatever else is on Coinbase. That is huge, absolutely massive, and I think MOG's unit bias is something that people are sleeping on. I've actually, I had a call literally with my friend. He called me yesterday, the day before, asking me about what coins to buy. And another one that's great with unit bias is Pepe. And I tried to explain to him what it was, because he was telling me, he was looking on Robinhood. What can I buy on Robinhood? I told him dude, meme coins are probably going to be the best bang for your buck with coins on Robinhood. When the other coins on that platform are literally Stellar Lumens and whatever the fuck else, right? But he's telling me, he's like, yeah, I want to get Pepe. He's like, bro, I can get like millions of tokens, dude. I'm like, I want to buy Pepe. And I told him about WIF, even though it's higher in price, whatever. But he's like, dude, I'm not putting, whatever amount of money he had in, I'm not going to get 30 to 50 WIF tokens. He's like, I want to get millions of tokens for Pepe. Still just couldn't understand the unit bias, like the idea behind it, and how you can't really focus on just the amount of tokens you get. But after explaining to him about it, one, he did not care. He still went with Pepe. He wanted more tokens in his wallet. Didn't even care about the market caps. That is a huge factor that people are sleeping on. Like I said, this is not even just a bull post about MOG, but unit bias is still huge, guys. I think it's way bigger than a lot of people are, thinking about and predicting. So everyone wants to own a good amount of coins, and then when they see it go up 1,000x, right? Oh, if it goes to $1, I make $200 million, like some random shit, right? But that is massive for MOG. That I think is just something that most meme coins right now are kind of slacking on, because they're all on Pump Fun, and they all have a very similar amount of tokens. But ticker Bitcoin here does look very, very good. This actually looks like it's about to break into at least 40 cents. I would say 40 to 50 cents. This is going to start ripping. And we got SPX as well. I call this the OG ETH trifecta. MOG, Bitcoin, and SPX. These three have just been some of the most OG meme coins on Ethereum outside of Pepe. Just these four. From Pepe as being the literal OG meme coin from, mid 2023. Mog, Bitcoin, SPX are spawning kind of a little bit after that. And then we also got another trifecta here. We got Aura, Lock-in, and Sigma. This is kind of like a TikTok trifecta, kind of brought up on Twitter a little bit. Sigma, very much so down from the highs. Aura, very much so down from the highs. I think Aura is probably going to play out somewhat like Mog did, in a sense where this is probably going to bounce again, attempt, until one day this is just going to start going parabolic, at least to probably 10 to 20 cents, I would guess, is when it really starts to run. I would not be surprised if that happens for Aura here. And then Lock-in as well, same thing. All three of these in this trifecta are down very hard from their highs. And I think in due time these are easily going to correct themselves, start running, easily going into all-time highs. And again, seeing Bitcoin at 100K just fuels that fire. That gives me even more conviction that, basically most meme coins are just going to rip well into their all-time highs at some point. At least established ones. You can't be betting on one that just launched tomorrow, and expecting it to do a 500x, in the next 3 months when there's no community or anything behind it, right? Even Retardio, same thing. Retardio chart actually looks very similar to Lock-in and Aura. They're just, in my opinion, just incredibly oversold, all three of them. And like I said too, Aura chart-wise looks different than Sigma and Lock-in, but same thing. This is one of my highest conviction lower cap meme coins. It's literally right back down into an entry zone. I've been preaching this for about a month and a half, 2 months since I've called this. Anywhere in this range, guys, is just a DCA, 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 and just be patient. And then eventually this is going to run. This is exactly what I did with Mog in 2023. And you guys have seen what Mog has done. Same exact thing is probably going to be playing out with Aura. I don't know why, but I have very high hopes. I think Aura is a great TikTok, culture coin, if you would. Sigma's been very good. Lock-in, very good. Let's cover some AI. Oh my god, bro. Render's ripping, dude. That's fucking crazy. Virtuals has been in its own bull run right now. I don't expect it to be cranking right now. But BitTensor cranking 670. This is literally going to go into all-time highs. I give this maybe a few days. I think just off the hype again of Bitcoin cranking, this could be really good. And either way, if it doesn't even go into all-time highs in the next few days, at some point once higher cap alts get a bigger rotation, this is easily going to probably 1,000, if not higher. Yeah, bro, Render is looking fucking beautiful. This shit's going well into new all-time highs. That's a god candle on this coin. Massive day. GraphLink is another AI coin that I really, really like. It is already starting to move a bit. Definitely, I would not consider it a full-out clean entry zone. I think the entry zone was down here. Maybe when it kind of pulled back here, that's it. But GraphLink is going to do very well this cycle. Still fairly low in market cap. NKI, if you guys have seen my channel at all, a lot of my AI videos, this has been one of my highest conviction AI coins in the space. It is still my favorite, literally my favorite AI coin, even though price action has been absolutely terrible. Outside of this move here back literally in March, it has been down only, and it's still consolidating, but I do expect this to have some sort of major move to the upside, it very much so can at some point break its all-time high. Am I betting on it? I'm not sure. I'm not trying to be a moon boy with any single coin in this market, any targets like that, but I definitely do have a firm belief that it easily could. I mean, that would be about a 4x from current levels. I think that's very doable. With a coin that's been building their asses off for so long, very strong dev team. They got an uncensored, unbiased LLM, fully diluted as well, which is very good, very rare for a lot of newer, or not even newer, but just a lot of AI coins in general. So I think overall, NKI is still killing it. But outside of that, guys, that's kind of what I wanted to cover in this video. And I'd say Moon Tropica, guys, this is one of my favorite gaming coins in the entire space. This is starting to finally move after adding to this, I don't know how many times. A few times just over the last few months. Same thing, it's slow and steady, but easily should be 100. I don't know why I have these random ass boxes. I think I was just targeting potentially all-time high. A little bit higher, but I mean, I'd say a couple $100 too is not even out of the question for this. But Moon Tropica definitely could be doing very well. Let's target here for now, see what happens. But outside of that, guys, I still want to make a video covering a lot more lower cap AI coins that are still at really good entry levels that just aren't getting that much attention right now. As honestly, still most of the space is still at bottom level prices. Outside of, something like this up a little bit. Some coins are up a little bit, but, guys, this is kind of just the start of everything right now. So if you guys have not been bullish on Altseason happening, Bitcoin at 100K right now should be your signal that it is 100% happening without a single doubt. At some point over the next month to 3 months, whatever time frame, it will happen. It is happening, and Bitcoin is just proving it right now. So, again, I appreciate you guys watching. Be patient, and let's fucking get it. Appreciate it, guys.